Wow. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Now, interestingly, we have Mr. Rufus here as well. So if anyone has questions to ask at this time, I mean, one take home I could take from this is that when we were being handed over our independence, it wasn't by war, rather it was by dialogue. I mean, there isn't anything that cannot be achieved through dialogue. This is coming at a very good time when we are having the agitation around the country. This reminds us that we need to actually engage in dialogue at all times. I could see a lot of things here. I mean, I have so many questions, but let's just run down what we saw. We saw Lord Lugard. I would like to know the exact role that Lord Lugard played in our, the amalgamation and all that. Reverend Ajayi Crowther, I know you said he went to Sierra Leone. We want to know, was he a merchant coming back to Nigeria, or he just came back and started developing the country the best he could? Now, I also saw a woman there. I saw many women, but we cannot, I mean, you didn't really mention their names. I can understand that having to go through a museum of this sort could take us 3 hours if we really want to go into details. And that's actually one of the reasons why we do this program, so that people just get to know bits of these museums, and then they can go there later for excursions. Behind me is the Lokoja, I mean, my backdrop is the Lokoja National Museum. We would like to know, I would like to know, because I was wondering, was this what the colonial masters left behind? And was it prefabricated like the one in Calabar as well? Now, the women that were part of this movement, we would like to know a little bit about them. So let me just leave the floor as well. I hope you took my own questions. I mean, this is just to let everyone know that the Lokoja Museum is more about it's a pictorial museum, but it's worth visiting. From what we can see that they are really, really detailed. The pictures are detailed. They really speak volume of what we went through before the independence, post-independence, the way we were before we even became, before the colonial masters came. I always say this, that the African culture or the Nigerian culture is a civilization. It's quite deep, and it goes a long, long time before the colonial era. So please, let me just leave us to hear more from Mr. Rufus. I know I can see you're not muted, and maybe everyone would like to ask questions, or even 1 or 2 persons, or everyone will want to discuss, because today is about digging deep into the pre-colonial era, the post-colonial era, and also our own civilization. So I leave everybody now I hand everybody over to Mr. Rufus first, and then we can continue in the discussion. Mr. Rufus, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Your first question had to do with Samuel Ajayi Crowther. When I said Samuel Ajayi Crowther was retrieved back from the merchant, and all those retrieved were taken to Sierra Leone, I was not saying that they were captured in Sierra Leone, but all of them were taken to Sierra Leone. Those of them that were opportuned, to return back, they were able to take them to Sierra Leone. And so along the line, the likes of Samuel Ajayi Crowther was, given that opportunity to be educated. So he was sent abroad in order to go and read. And when he came back, he started doing all of those things that we are seeing on ground today. Like I made mention of some of them there during the course of my guided tour. And then the second one, you talked about women that I did not mention their names. Actually, I was just trying to give a rundown of what was going on at that time, because I was running. I didn't want to run out of time. So I was like trying to beat time. And that was why I was unable to mention the women. Actually, I did not bring in the issue of equality there. I'm very sorry. Let me just apologize for that. But we have somebody like Mrs. Ransom Kuti. They said the first woman to own a car and even drive a car. And so many other achievements, like we have Mary Seleso and the rest of them. Time will not permit us to make mention of their names individually. But for now, that is the major reason. I was not dwelling on those men because their contributions supersedes that of women. No, they participated and they played a very vital role, all of them, at the same time. So I think I have touched or answered your question.
Okay, maybe we will want to hear. Mine was more of questions. Maybe we want other people have questions, and maybe we have we could discuss dig deep, like I said, dig deep into the pre-colonial, post-colonial, and the current structure of Lokoja. Do we have anyone who wants to contribute to this discussion, please? Either asking questions or contributing to what Mr. Rufus has said. Like I said, I mean, if we really want to go into the full tour, it's going to take us like 2-3 hours, but we had to go on 25 minutes tour, and that's why a lot of things were not really mentioned. I mean, like the names and all that, it didn't really go deep into this. So if we have questions, can we ask? The floor is now ours, everyone. Do we have questions or contributions? I hope everyone heard me. Okay. I think somebody wants to speak. Yes, Mr. Sonwo, where are you?
Good evening.
Good
everyone.
Evening. Good evening.
Just a quick question to Mr. Rufus. There was an agreement on the wall. You showed that. What was the agreement about between the ATA and the, I think it was with the colonialists, you said? Yeah, what was they agreeing to in that document? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question, sir. The agreement had to do with cessation of land, which run down from Lokoja to Ida. So the colonial masters, according to legend, that they bought that piece of land from Lokoja down to Ida.
I think we've lost him.
Yeah, we seem to be losing him. I mean, something, okay, I'm sure it will come back. Something that actually, that kind of came to my mind is the maze of the House of Assembly. I mean, it just shows that we're still following everything handed over to us still by the colonial masters, like the maze, which he mentioned signifies when the assembly is in session. Another thing that I saw was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. The first picture that was showed about him was he was quite young, and what first came to my mind was that people that young at that age, maybe it was even in school at that time, were more participating in the agitation, not even violent ones, but dialogue in getting the country to have its independence. And one would just wonder that what's going on these days, that we don't seem to have such young, very young people, I mean, being part of the system. These are the things that we really need to know and note, and we should also promote such even in the community. Well, I'm just putting in for Mr. Rufus. Hopefully he joins us very soon again. On the other hand, there was a monument. I was going to ask him about that monument as well, but I didn't quite, I mean, we were unable to ask him. If we wait another 5 minutes and he's not joining in, I think we might just call it a day. But one thing I'm going to do certainly is that I'm going to put this up, the video up again on YouTube just for our view, and hopefully we'll get it uploaded onto the website. But it will be on a private, the way we normally do it for members. So it will be available for another 2 days, 48 hours, so that we can go through it on our own and still have a feel of this tour. I was going to ask Mr. Unfortunately, I can't even see the curator herself here again. I was going to ask Mr. Rufus if the building behind me, my backdrop, is actually a, what do we call it now? If it was prefabricated, because it has some kind of resemblance with the one in Calabar, which we saw the other time. Hopefully he joins in, but if he does not, I will ask that question and I'll post it onto our chat if the building was actually prefabricated. Okay, he's back now. Did somebody see him? I saw him.
Looks like he's coming back in.
Yes.
Rufus seems to.
Let me see if he's back now. Okay, he's trying to connect now.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Rufus, it's nice to see you back. Please, can you unmute? Please unmute. Unmute. You're muted. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, we can hear you. I was going. You were answering a question.
Yes, ma. I'm very sorry. We are having a challenge here. I apologize.
No, that's okay, sir.
A network, yes. So I was trying to, answer the other person's question. Yes. He was talking. His question was that what was the agreement all about?
Yes.
And I was trying to put it across to him that the agreement had to do with land.
Okay.
And the agreement was between the Ata of Igala and the then colonial masters. And it had to do with land. They wanted to utilize a piece of land for agricultural purposes. And so they bought that piece of land from the Ata of Igala. And like I was saying, the actual amount was not paid, sorry. So they are still owing the Ata of Igala till tomorrow.
Wow.
I hope I have answered your question, sir.
Mr. Sonwo, did you hear that?
Yes, I did. So the British government is still owing the Ata of Igala. How much was it, by the way, in that day's money?
I don't know the amount. I don't know the actual amount. I only saw about 400 something that was remaining. So actually, I don't know the amount.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks for the explanation.
Welcome, sir.
And I was asking a question before you came back. I wanted to know if the building, my backdrop, was actually prefabricated, because it looks like it wasn't constructed in Nigeria, kind of. Was it prefabricated, or when was it constructed?
Thank you very much for that question, ma. We are right now in the building that is behind you, that is, housing the exhibition. Okay. The structure you are seeing at your back, ma, is the original copy of the handwork of the colonial masters. Nobody tampered with it. Of course, you know that in one way or the other, we have to do restoration. And so we just did some minor restoration. If not, the building you are seeing is the exact thing that was presented by the colonial masters, and they used it as one of his senior staff quarters.
Like the administrative office. Okay, now,
yes.
So they were operating from here, kind of.
Yes,
you mentioned that in that building that there was a place where they were, executing or imprisoning slaves.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it in that building or just in that premises?
No, it's not. It's situated far away from the office. It is situated in what we call Koji hotels today. Okay. And one of the structures, especially the prison is still there. It's not demolished. It's only where offenders were hanged or sentenced by hanging that have been demolished by the authority. Wow.
I mean, from all indications, it will be a good place to visit. I mean, the whole of Lokoja's monuments and all that. You talked about having many monuments. I mean, could you mention them? I know you talked about the cenotaph. You talked about the cenotaph. What other monuments are there in Lokoja at the moment, so that when people who want to come by, they would, they will have an idea of what they're coming to visit?
Thank you very much, ma. Like I said, we have them scattered all over Lokoja and even beyond in Kogi State. One, we have the first military hospital, we have the European cemetery, then we have the Iron of Liberty, we have the first primary school, then we have a spot where the handing over and the taking over ceremony took place in 1900, like I was saying. Yeah. Then even the Lokoja Club, we have Mount Patti, where Lord Lugard used as his resting place. He will climb, and the distance is almost 1,500 meters above sea level. That's where he used to go and have his rest.
Wow,
and
is
so
it a
many
mountain?
Others, ma.
Is it a mountain? Is it a hill?
In form of I can say it's a mountain.
Okay. Wow.
It's a mountain, but up there we have flat ground. So there are so many other monuments and sites that we have, ma. In fact, too numerous to mention.
Wow. Okay, I mean, this is very, very interesting. I'm just getting to know this myself for the first time. Do we have anyone who wants to ask questions or get more insight into this? Somebody raised their hand. Walker, anonymous Walker.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I just want to contribute to what my boss, Mr. Elab, have just explained to us.
Okay.
So, actually, everything about National Museum Lokoja here, about the gallery, like he said earlier, was divided into 4 different sections or segments. And now we have all seen some of the history, you know, and the making of Nigeria, especially the Niger-Benue confluence connection. Yes, we have a lot of monuments scattered all over Kogi State, preferably Lokoja here. Like
Yes.
you wanted to know where is where is that very spot that a Lokoja normally goes to rest, which is a former girlfriend that later turned to his wife, Flora Shaw. Yeah, that everything that was happened at the top of Mount Patti here in Lokoja here. So when you have the opportunity to visit Mount Patti, you see the very spot where he normally goes to have his rest. And it is on that same spot that the Flora Shaw actually, through the view, the area view, that where he take a look at the entire scenario, that is wonderful. This is the Niger area. And I'm sure at that very point in time, around 1898, where the name Nigeria was actually coined by Flora Shaw.
Yeah.
So that is how it goes in Lokoja. So we also have the first primary school, built by the late Samuel Ajayi Crowther, of course, which is now today known as the Crowther Memorial College. Okay. So it is the first primary school that was built in the northern Nigeria. So these are one of the monuments we have too in Lokoja here. Then we also have these other ones, like the cenotaph you mentioned, where all the fallen heroes today remembered, the year. You understand, like the people that actually fought for the independence and the lives. Then we also have the European cemetery. So it's a very, very good one to know that all those Europeans too, where they were being buried here in Lokoja. And some of our traditional rulers, that is the ancient traditional rulers, some of all those that actually came from exile and the rest, when they later died, they were all buried in certain cemetery here too. They have their own cemetery where they're all buried. So there are a lot of monuments like that scattered all over Kogi State. And even the Lokoja Museum himself here, that was, previously was one of his senior staff quarters, which is now the National Museum Lokoja. According to the history, the structure has been erected since 1900 till now. So I think, as you can see, the monument still retains its original structure. And like you asked question earlier, that whether the material used was being fabricated. Yes, it was being fabricated. They fabricated all those materials and was imported from abroad. So all we need to do here at our own end is to continue, to treat such the wooden materials and the metal and what have you, so that to continue to maintain their originality and to prevent them from decaying and all that. So thank you very much. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I can see Mrs. Ogumbanjo wants to ask a question. Please, can you go ahead, ma'am?
Hello. Good evening, and thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Rufus, for the presentation. My question is because you said that a lot of the monuments are scattered around. What I'm just wondering, so if someone does make a trip to Kogi State and says, okay, I want to go to the museum, but then you want to see these artifacts, that the monuments and so on, is there a sort of arranged tour? So part of your visit to the museum, which has a lot of information, lots of pictures, but is it possible to arrange for people to actually go to, whether it's, I don't know, the first primary school, for instance, or those other things that you mentioned? So are they in locations that are easy to go to, say, in one day, or would it require a number of journeys, a number of trips to Kogi State before you'll be able to cover everything that's out there?
Thank you very much, ma'am. The beauty of what we are having all over is the.
Oh, sorry, I think I mistakenly muted you. Hold on, please. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
the monuments that we are having. Hello, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. The monuments, they are accessible, and pre-visit, what normally happens is that if it is an organized visit, we arrange for the movement. One of the challenges we are having actually has to do with mobility, but for those that are coming, we take them to all those spots with ease. There is no problem at all.
Yeah, and really that's where we at Active Projector, we also come in, because we are actually looking at organizing excursions, tours, physical tours to Lokoja, Cross River, Calabar, ACM Museum, and what's it called now, and the Lagos Museum as well. So we're working on about 5 museums so that people could pick the ones that they want for summer, for sometimes between the last week of July and the last week in August. So we have this in the pipeline, and as time goes on, we will unveil it even to the platform, our platform, the WhatsApp platform, so that everyone can choose the places they want to go. I was actually speaking with a security guy, somebody who has been in the police, now runs a security outfit in Cross Rivers, in Calabar, over the week. And he was going to give me all the logistics and all that. So we're going to do the same to other museums as well. The one for ACM Museum is likely to come up in October, because we're already organizing a carnival for the ACM Museum. We call it the ACM Museum's Carnival. It's the first museum in Nigeria, and it houses 1,000 soapstone images, which is the largest collection in the whole world. The French ambassador was there last week, and he was so impressed. He didn't know that we had such an heritage in Nigeria. So we have so much to actually offer in Nigeria, and we hope that we'll be able to work out this, putting in place good security and good transportation system, so that people would feel at home like they're in any other part of the world. So you can actually watch out for these flyers that will be coming onto the platform between now and the middle of July, so that anyone who is interested could actually come with us, and we'll be able to take people around their various places of interest. So, okay, is that all, Mrs. Ogunwa?
That's helpful. Yeah, that's helpful. However, living far away, that probably might not be practical. But it's nice you're thinking about that, and maybe going forward, it could be something that if a group of people are coming to Nigeria, something that we could organize before, we turn up, so it can be organized at that stage. Because as I said, previous exhibitions that we've had, the virtual exhibitions that we've had, I've never known that we have places like that. I've been to the Lagos Museum a number of times, because my father took us as when we were young. But to know that we have all this history that is out there, but it's not really tapped. And as I said, the next time I do, come to Nigeria, I will make sure that it's part of, come to Lagos, and make sure that part of my trip will be to go to these places. So yeah, the fact that you're even thinking about that, I think that's a good starting point. And it can be developed. As I said, we can discuss and say, oh well, I'll be coming around this time, and then we could put some things in place so that we can just organize something then. So, but thank you very much, and thank you to the curator and everyone involved in organizing this.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Agbogun, that's the curator. Can we hear from you? Mr. Efon, do you have any contributions? Let's hear from Mrs. Agbogun. Please, can you unmute yourself, ma'am? I mean, I'm so happy and I'm so pleased that everyone had to be at the museum at this time. We're really appreciative of your support. I can see that you're on duty even at this time. It really shows that you are putting in lots of effort into your work, even when it is Saturday. Do you have anything particular that you want us to see again that we've not seen in the video? Let's hear from you, Mrs. Agbogun.
Yes, there's so many things that I want you to see that was not actually mentioned or seen in the video. That is when we are talking about the structure itself. When you look at the structure is over 125 years old, and it is built with the built wooden structure. And you see that it is the base is above ground level. Why? Because of the situation of Nigeria then, the place was swampy, and because of the infestation of termites. So that's why they built the structure this way. And when you look at it, the structure itself is a monument.
Yeah.
It's a monument. And the structure is supposed to be declared a monument so that offices will not be there. So it will just be the monument and even the gallery. And in the question, I mean, you explained that you want to know about the amalgamation of Nigeria. Yes, I know. Before the advent of the colonial masters, like as we were told that the people, we have our way of governing ourselves through the Obas, the Obis, the emirs, and so on. Before the 1900, Lord Lugard, was one of the governors of Northern Protectorate. Nigeria then was divided into 3 protectorates. We have the Colonial of Lagos, we have the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria, we have the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria, which Lord Lugard was the governor of Northern Nigeria. But in 1906, something happened. The colony of Lagos was merged with Southern Protectorate to form a new colony known as Colony and Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. And in 1914, that is precisely January 1st, 1914, the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria and the colony and the Directorate of Southern Nigeria were merged together by Frederick Lugard to be known as the Colony and Directorate of Nigeria.
Okay.
Lugard became the Governor General. Lugard became the Governor General in 1919. Nigeria became one entity. We were having 3. It was divided in 3. The colony of Lagos, the Protectorate of South.
Okay, I think we are losing her there.
Yeah, I think I think we've lost.
No, she'll be back.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually okay. She's still here, ma'am. Can you unmute? We need you to unmute. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, like as I was saying, that the colony, the amalgamation took place on the 1st of January 1914 by Lord Lugard when he signed a document, merging the directorate together, which now became Nigeria. So before then, the people of Nigeria were ruling themselves until now that Lord Lugard came up and named Nigeria. I mean, add all these colonies together to form Nigeria. That was 1914, and he ruled till 1919. Hello?
Wow. Yes, we can hear you clearly. I understand
yes.
that.
So after,
yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
So after the amalgamation, Fred Lord Lugard became the Governor General of Nigeria, 1914 to 1919. Thereabout, Hod Clifford took over, and like that. We have all these people, their picture in our gallery, which my educators have already explained earlier. So, and
okay, are you okay? I was actually going to. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
That's for the amalgamation. Huh?
Okay, thank you very much. I was actually going to ask, because history has it that Nigeria was actually named by his mistress then. What's her name again? Something Shaw?
Flora Shaw.
Flora Shaw. Yeah, that she was actually the one who gave us the name Nigeria through Niger area. Could you have any story into that, about that?
The only story we knew is that when they went to Mount Party where they were arresting, so when she came out, she was a journalist. So she was taking pictures of the Niger area. The moment you are at Mount Party, you will see the River Niger and River Benue, even the confluence. It will be so visible. So when she saw these beautiful ruins, she now said, this is Niger area. And that was how the name Nigeria was found out, according to one of our contributors.
Wow. I mean, we have so much to learn. Well, I wish we have more children who come onto this program, who will learn a lot more from the Nigerian history, because when you know your history, you begin to have your identity, get it right and all that. This is a very, very interesting session. Like I said, it's one of the reasons we also do this is to see how we can get people from other places, from diaspora, even within Nigeria. It's my first time of seeing, it's through this program that I saw the building, my backdrop for the first time, and yet my state is very close to your state. I'm from Kwara there, but I've never been to the museum in Lokoja, even though sometimes we go through Lokoja. It's quite interesting because I know at the age of 5, when Major General Bako came to the northern area. I was 5 then, and I was actually the one who presented him with the bouquet.
Right.
Yes, I was very young then. I was only 5, about 5, and my dad then was the chairman of the NUT in Kwara State. So I was the one who presented Major General Bako with the bouquet at that time. And till now, till date, even though I was very young, I still kind of picture that ceremony and all that. I recall that when he actually traveled, I mean, after that he traveled, and then I asked after him, and my parents said he went to Mecca. So I said, Bako lo si Mecca ko wa mu mi lo. That is, Bako went to Mecca and he did take me with him. I mean, you can just imagine as a little child, I presented him with a bouquet, and I was kind of, still imagining that I was part of the system even at that time. So these are little things that we should engage our younger ones, our younger generation, because we might never tell what will be their interest, what could fascinate them. We hope that with time, I mean, maybe more and more time, when we do this more and more, we'll be able to get more and more people into the program, and also get everyone to participate, both young and old. It shouldn't only be for the older ones, our children in diaspora need to all really see these things to connect with it. So we hope with time we'll get there. Mr. Efon, thank you for tuning in from the United States of America. Thank you so much. Mr. Sonwo, we're very grateful as always. Mrs. Ogunbanjo. Mrs. Adesheri, she's one person that keeps amazing me because she's a staff of the museum, but she just wants to learn more. And she's always at the program. These are the kind of things that we really need to encourage other people. She's always at the program. She's actually a member. She paid for the membership, despite the fact that she's a staff of the museum. And she's always at all the programs. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adesheri. We appreciate this, and we hope next week.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. The next time should be, I don't know, I think we have pastries next week. I don't know if I'll be able to, I mean, I will try to bring somebody on and see how far we can go with pastries if we're able to do that. Otherwise, the upper week will be, I think, Yoruba classes or so, yeah. So, and then I think we'll be working on the proverbs and some of the practices in Yoruba, Yoruba culture. So thank you once again, everybody, for being part of this evening. I hope we all really enjoyed ourselves. And it's been very informative as always. Thank you, Mr. Rufus, your team. Where's Mrs. Agogo? She's gone again. Regards to everybody at the Lokoja Museum. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you. God bless. See you next week or in 2 weeks. God bless. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.